So welcome, welcome, and welcome. Good morning from China, wherever you are. Welcome to today's live stream where we talk about why it matters to stay you. And I've prepared a couple of examples, personal examples from friends, from clients, and from my mother. So stay tuned to listen to that. And at the end, I'm going to give you what you can do to stay you. And that's based on the 3R process that I teach my students in Back to Me. If you want to know more about that program, there is the QR code. Scan it, have a look, and let's start. So we talk about why does it matter to stay you. And I see this, like I said, I see that with friends, I see it with clients, I see it in my family, and I lost myself in a relationship. So I also know from personal experience how it shows up when you lost yourself in your relationship. And why it matters to stay you is it's a very simple solution, or not solution, it's a very simple concept, because we all know this saying, you can't pour from empty cup. Now, if that cup isn't even yours, how do you want to pour into the others? So what that proverb tells us is you need to look after yourself first. And only then you can give all the love to your children, to your partner, to your parents, your siblings, your friends, your coworkers, everyone around you. But you are the most important person in your life. You're the only person you spend the rest of your life with 24/7. And yet that is the most neglected relationship you probably have. Think about that. Think about, yeah, only person you spend the rest of your life with. Yes, yet you're not looking after yourself first. And looking after yourself often has this inclination of being selfish. But that's not the case. There is a difference in how you display that looking after yourself. And I like to tell my clients when they come to me and when they come and say, oh, my relationship isn't working and my husband is doing this and the children are doing that, and in our relationship we're not connected, we're not talking to each other, and that here's what I tell them, and that's probably go to you because it's so important. But the relationship you have with your partner is a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. And that's why it matters to stay you, to fill your cup, to be that person that you are, without shame, without blame, without judgment, to finding out what you want, what you need, and communicate it and get it. And then your relationship will thrive. It will get this deep connection that you might not have now because you believe that you don't matter. And that brings me to my first example. It's a friend of mine. And a couple of years, I remember I talked to her, and I think I was already living in China. So I talked to her on the phone and said, oh, how are you doing? And in English, yeah, when we say you, it could mean you. It could also mean you guys. But in German, it's very specific. When I say, wie geht es dir? I mean particularly you. So how are you? And she started telling me how her daughter is, how her husband is, how the dog is, how the parents-in-law are, how the weather is, how the garden is doing. And I was sitting there and I was like, okay. And I said, so but what about you? So how are you doing? You friend, how are you doing? And she said, well, same old, I don't matter that much. It's me just functioning and doing things for the others, performing for the others. So that shows you that if you do that, if you get asked, how are you doing? And you start talking about how the other people are doing, chances are high that you have lost yourself in the relationship. Now, here's the thing. When you have that belief that you don't matter that much, because I think for her it was like she never got taught that she matters, her opinion matters, what she wants matters, that she can have her dreams and have the relationship and have the children and have that life. It was either or. You're either giving yourself up to be the wife, to be the mother, or you're being selfish and go after what you want. And she chose, even though she never said, I choose this, but she chose to be the mother and wife and forget herself in that relationship, in the family. It was everyone else matters, I don't matter. And she displayed that. That's how she talks about herself. It's always like, no. It's important how the children are. It's important how my husband is. I don't matter. Another example is, it's a client of mine, and when we met the other week, it's a one-on-one client, so that makes it more specific, because we met, and what I usually do in my one-on-ones is like, okay, how are you doing? How has your week been? And then she gives me an itinerary of what she did with the children, with the husband, with the dog. And then I say, oh, okay, but how are you? How are you feeling? What's going on inside you? And then usually comes, I don't know. So, okay, let's listen. Let's listen a bit closer. What's going on? She said, I don't know. But yeah, this is what I've done. This is what we've done. This is what I prepared. I made this dinner and the children didn't like it, so I made something else. And she has lost touch with herself, but yet in the same session, she also told me that she misses her old self. That person that knew what she wanted, that went out exploring the world and meet with friends and enjoying the moment. She misses that person, and she believes that she can't have both. She can't enjoy what she enjoys and be that efficient, all-knowing, all-doing mother and wife. And I ask her, so how's your relationship with your husband? And she said, well, we talk. What about physical interactions? Well, every now and again. And do you kiss? Do you hug? Do you hold hands? Do you have this conversation about how you feel, your dreams, your wishes, your hopes? So no, we talk about, well, the move is coming up soon when they move back to their home country. That's what we talk about. We talk about the children, we talk about school. And here's what brings me then back to what I said before. The relationship you have with your partner is a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. So she's disconnected with her partner because she's disconnected from herself. She uses, I don't know, so often, whenever I ask her, how do you feel? I'm talking about the emotions, about the body feeling. How do you feel? I don't know. When I ask what's going through your head, I don't know. So of course you do. What is it that holds you back from telling me, from saying it out loud? And then she becomes very small in her posture, in her body language. It's like she's folding in and said, well, I don't want to say something wrong. I don't want to say something that I'm not supposed to say. And I asked her, well, what do you mean you're not supposed to say it? And she said, I want to be the strong woman. I want to be the strong mother. I want to be strong for my family for the outside world. And if I say something that doesn't show that, I feel weak. I feel like I'm not allowed to feel weak. I feel like I'm not allowed to be overwhelmed and that it's too much, because I see all these other perfect moms in their perfect relationships with their husbands. And I feel like if I can't display that, then I'm the loser. So she rather keeps quiet, and like in German we say, you eat it all up and keep it to yourself. And what does that to you? When you hold it in, it builds up tension in your body. Your mind is spiraling, you're overwhelmed with the small situations, and you're constantly in the inner war with yourself, shaming and blaming and judging yourself for what you did or what you didn't do. So that's the second example of how it could look like when you lost yourself and you're not you anymore. And now to the third example, my mother. And I'm using this example on purpose. And I tell you why in a minute. So my mom loves traveling. My mom loves exploring. And sometimes on the phone, I ask her, so what's going on? And she said, well, I wanted to go to that church and listen to that choir. And I said, and did you? No. So why not? Well, your dad didn't want to come with. So why didn't you go along? Nah, I can't do that by myself. I said, of course you can. Yeah, but I can't drive anymore. So take taxi. The taxi is so expensive. So ask friend. Nah. So, and she does that very often. She has ideas and wants to explore and wants to do something. But if my dad says no, she finds reason for why she can't do it on her own, by herself. And she has done that since I became aware of she's doing it. So I'm 46 soon, so she's doing it probably for decades. And I'm using this example in particular because I hear this with clients and with students in the program so often. The reason they are like this, that they believe they don't matter. It is okay to lose yourself. It is okay if you put the focus onto everyone else apart from yourself, is because they tell me, this is what my mom did. This is how I grew up. This is what I learned to do. This is normal to me. And now here I am, my mother's daughter, and I'm telling you bullshit. It's an excuse, the same excuses my mom uses why she can't do things that she would love to do. These are the excuses that some of you guys probably use to keep you stuck, to not change, because change, what could happen? We don't know. Uncertainty comes through. And we humans, we don't like uncertainty. It's like, out of control. And losing control is scary, even though having control is an illusion. But I want to show you that I am not like my mother. So it's not like I grew up with that behavior. She learned it. She showed it to me. And yet I choose not to do it that way. I took back responsibility, and with that I took back the power, my power, to make my own decisions and to choose that if I want to do something, I do it. I tell, example, here in China, here in Xinjiang, a couple of weeks ago, they had this cultural experience with the Beijing Opera. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to go there. And I asked Dick, it's like, Are you coming? He said, no, not interested. And I said, okay, going by myself. And because it was organized by his company, I asked him to just put my name down and I went there. I didn't know anyone there before I arrived there. I didn't know what to expect. I went to the wrong venue. Then I had to look at like, okay, I have 20 minutes to get to the right venue. And then I got lost on the way, finding the venue. Some guy had to come run after me, say, oh, Anna, are you the one that we're waiting for? I said, yeah, that's me. So chaos. And that could all be a reason. I could have you say, I'm not doing this again because it's getting complicated. I'm getting lost. And oh my God, it's so much out of control and uncertainty. But anyway, so I was there. I was listening to the opera, and then we had a walk around and got introduced to different crafts. And within those 2 hours, I made 3 new friends. Friends in the same of acquaintances. I talked to people, I laughed with people. We exchanged numbers, going to meet up again, and that's it. And then I came home, I told him all about it, said how funny it was, how much entertainment I had. Oh, this is Betty, by the way. You. And that was it. But often we believe that we need to do it with our partner. If they don't, like my mom said, if your dad doesn't want to do it, I'm not doing it because money, time, I can't drive. Yeah. Thousands of excuses. But I want to be for you that living proof that even though your mother, your parents taught you one way, you are old enough to make the choice and do it differently. You can take back your power, the responsibility for your life, for your happiness, and say, yeah, it might be scary. I might get lost. No one might talk to me. I knew that. I knew going in there that there probably would be many families with little children. I knew there was the chance that I wouldn't talk to anyone. But I was open, curious, and I just went there. And then the weekend after, I went to a flower arranging workshop in Chinese. And my Chinese isn't that good that I understood everything that lady explained to us, how to put those flowers. But nevertheless, I went, I met the ambassador, I met other ladies, had a fun 2 hours, went home. Full stop. You never know, but it's up to you. It's your choice. And let's come to the big question. How do we do it? How aren't we losing ourselves? So if you lost yourself, fine. That's okay. There's no blame, no shame in that. I lost myself in relationships. You might know this, my last relationship with an alcoholic, I tried to make him see how amazing I am. I tried to arrange myself so that he would finally see who I am and have this epiphany of, oh my God, I had the best all along in front of me. It never happened. And I lost myself there in that relationship. And how do you come back to yourself? In the Back to Me program, yeah, here's the QR code, I teach the 3R process. It's recognize, reconnect, and rebuild. So in this particular case, first you need to recognize, you need to acknowledge, become aware that you've lost yourself. That's the first step. It's just like, yeah, I see it. I feel it. I know it. Without shame, without blame, without judgment, because don't need them. So that's the first step, that you become aware and you acknowledge it. Without shame, without blame, without judgment. That's the important part. No shame, no blame, no judgment. The next step is that you reconnect with yourself. What do you want? Now, you might have a long list of things that you don't want, but I want you to spend a couple of minutes every day, every other day, it doesn't matter, but spend a couple of minutes in the next couple of days and write a list of the things that you want, that you enjoy. And even if they give you just a little bit of excitement, like I really look forward every morning to drink my coffee in peace, yeah? Because I work from home or go to the clinics. I'm quite flexible in the morning. Dirk is going to work. I only got the dogs here, and I can enjoy my coffee in peace for half an hour, for an hour. That's enjoyment to me. So I want you to find these simple joys, but also what do you like? Like for my example, I like to have these cultural experiences, go to the opera, go to a concert. And if you like that, write it down. It doesn't matter. Don't judge it. Don't find reasons why you couldn't do them. Just notice, just become aware of what do you want. And it might be very, very hard for you to write that list because you're so used to saying what you don't want. But this is important. This is reconnecting with yourself. And the next part is then you rebuild yourself. You find one thing on that list and you do it. And your brain might go into overdrive, overthinking, spiraling, reasons why not. And that is okay because you trained it to do that. It's your master in doing that because you've done this for so long. So it's bound to happen, yeah. And when that happens, when your brain spirals, when you're looking for reasons not to do, you become like, interesting. I'm overthinking. Interesting. I'm spiraling. Interesting. I'm finding reasons desperately for things, for not doing things that I want to do. Be open. Stay curious about your own patterns. No shame, no blame, no judgment. We don't need that. It's so useless. Let's be curious. Let's be open and let's just see what happens. And your brain will come back and come back and come back. And every time, say interesting. This is going on for an hour. Interesting. Because it's retraining. It's how you retrain your brain. And these patterns that you've been training for so long, they are so deeply ingrained. And by just starting this little exercise, when you become aware, like, oh, interesting, you're reprogramming your brain. You're reprogramming your patterns. And eventually you will do it. And then you pick the next thing on your list. And the next one. And the next one. And then your cup gets fuller and fuller. You reconnect more and more with yourself. And with that, by stopping that inner war, by finding yourself again, you can reconnect with your partner on such a deep level that you weren't able so far, because so far there was this inner war. You had to fight with yourself. So you couldn't possibly and able to give the connection to anyone else because you were fighting your own. But when that is quiet, when that war has stopped, even if it's for a couple of minutes, you will be able to reconnect on a such deep level with your partner that it will blow your mind. Take my word for it. If not, try it. Try it. And with that, all that's left to say is I hope this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. Come back next week for another topic about losing yourself and relationships. And if you want to have more guidance, more of me working with me, look at the back to me or send me a message, connect, and find out how we can work together. Because why do it on your own, taking so long, when you can do it with someone and having it quicker? Until next week, 10 a.m. China time. I see you then. Look after yourself. And any questions you have, if you haven't written them in here and I don't see any comments, then feel free to just put it in the comments after the live, and I'll make sure to answer them. Thank you so much. Look after yourself. Take care, and bye-bye.